This week I'm back to renovating this old dog of a T25. Wish me luck. Oh, power cable. Oh, this week's going great. What's that? Good morning everybody. Back to working on this old beast. First job of the day, well, first job of the day is going to be trying to get it started. Second job of the day is going to be putting some Vactan across, all like rust converter, if you don't know what Vactan is, rust converting, across all these little patches and whatnot. Ready to put some sound deadening on, especially sound deadening over engine bay and the floor. Obviously some of the panels stop them vibrating a bit. At some point I need to reseal the windows. I'm not quite sure when's going to be the best time for that. Obviously it's getting wetter and colder, but equally we need to be going away in March, so as you can see we get quite a bit of water coming in, especially in the driver's side. It's coming in from the window somewhere. I might have a little go on the welder this week as well. This one's not so bad, the driver's is worse. Have a go at fixing these and see what else we can get up to. Right, let's see if I can start it. Job one done. That was painful. Before I start, I'm just going to give it a good wash, some soap and water inside. Before I do that, I'm just going to measure up how much sound deadening I need. Just left the engine running a little bit to warm up inside and dry off some of the moisture. Somewhat worked. It's warm in here with the engine hood off. Next up, Vactan. One mistake we made, I can blame Danni, I suppose, she's not here to defend herself. On the boat with this stuff, this is water based and needs to cure. I don't know why I'm sat so awkwardly. This stuff's water based and needs to cure properly, i.e. 24 hours minimum before putting anything on top. We didn't quite leave it. I think we left it 12 to 14, maybe 16 hours on the boat, and had a couple of issues. I'll link the video up there somewhere. Fingers crossed this time. I'm going to leave it for probably a couple of days before I put actual paint on top, although maybe I don't necessarily need to paint on top of this because this acts as a primer sealer anyway, and then this is going to get, what am I doing, insulation, then plywood. I might not need to recoat this. I'll have a think. Good morning. Slight issue with the Vactan. I didn't really take temperature into consideration yesterday. I just read the bottle and it needs no less than 5 or 10 degrees, and I think it's probably 3 or 4 degrees out. Oh dear. How am I going to heat that up then? The engine sounded. So it's got a really old automatic choke, which is what keeps cutting out every now and again. If anyone's got any tips on fixing that, or whether that is just how it is. It runs okay for the most part, but if you play with the throttle, it will cut out. But if you don't play with the throttle, sometimes it will cut out as well. But it will tick over nicely now. Fine. But as soon as you press the throttle and the revs like go up and then come back down, they go down too far and then it just cuts out. So plan for the day was to fit the insulation I just picked up, but obviously that's going to be wet for a while. So I might be working inside. As in inside a shed, not in here. A few of you mentioned that it sounded like it was misfiring a little bit on a few of the startups from the first video we did with this. I think that's probably right. I had a little play with the HT leads and spark plugs and whatnot yesterday. Seems to be running better now, so I'm going to replace all of those and the distributor cap as well. There's a choke coming down real quick. Turn that up. Spoke too soon. Once it gets heat in it, it's fine. What also doesn't help is the throttle cable's really stiff. Sounds like it's going again. The throttle cable's really stiff, so it's almost all or nothing on the revs. It makes me sound like I've got no clutch control at all, but it's genuinely the throttle. I promise. Come on. So plan is try and repair some of these units where the chipboard's blown out on the bottom. Something's pretty bad. That piece goes on the edge of the fridge. Fridge goes in here. That door's from there. The rest I'm leaving in situ because that's not too bad. I feel the more I take it out and move it about, the more risk I've got of breaking some of it. But bits like this really do need some sort of glue put in there and clamping it up. Just make sure it doesn't get any worse. Plan is a bit of a wet mix of PVA glue and just drip it down inside and try and clamp it so it won't burst out too much. Little cup of rainwater. Oh yeah. I might save that bit till I've had a bit more experience on the rest. That looks knackered. Oh, that's not gone very well. Once that experiment pans out, this should be fairly simple. Oh my goodness, come on. Oh, what was that? Please don't break the mic. Just the one casualty from the fall. Oh dear. Just another bit to glue. That's clamped up though. So the plan is give the white a coat of paint once it's all repaired, that freshen up, and then we keep this nice and aged. Well, as nice and aged as chipboard can be anyway. Don't know if that's going to work or not. Oh, this week's going great. One thing I didn't anticipate is just how long everything takes to dry this time of year. Letting that glue dry, and I'll put some clamps on it to stop it blowing out too much because it's quite wet and I think it'll probably take overnight to dry. So I'm not going to waste any more time today, and I'm going to have a full day at it tomorrow. Good morning, day 3. Colder than ever. As expected, it hasn't cured still. So I've treated myself to a hot air gun. Partly to keep me warm, partly to cure the vac tan. Fingers crossed I can do that. Then stick in the multi-foil insulation. Oh no, first I got some sound deadening to stick on, but I will just leave the hot air gun and try and cure some of this off first. Oh, power cable. That was close. Oh, I'm coming up through the... I think I might jump to a time lapse. So as it's taken too long to cure, there's actually a bit of rust coming back through on some bits up there, so reapply some, go straight over gently with the hot air gun because I don't think it likes being above 25 degrees or 40, can't remember, and go from there. Just wish I thought of this 2 days ago. Pretty happy with how that's drying. There's a little bit more over there. Just going to give it a bit of a wipe on the floor and put some insulation down. I've got some sound deadening for the panels. That's outside. I'm trying to get my... think one more pack will probably do. Next up is multi-foil on the floor. So plan of attack with this, double-sided tape, roll it out, cut it, simple. Going to grab the plywood to put in on the floor just whilst I'm working on the rest of the van. I'm not going to fix it permanently because obviously I still need to figure out this. I've got a safe to order to go in here. But just be easier to work on. I won't pop all the bubbles and that. I feel the heat difference in there already. I'm not sure why that's like that. I don't know if I've stained the wrong piece or just cut it wrong. It's not the end of the world. Unless that's where the water tank sits. That is where the water tank goes. I'm running out of excuses. I think I've just cut it wrong. Or there's another piece which is the offcut and I've stained the wrong piece. I'm glad we film everything. I just looked back through the video when I took it out. This piece slides up. Oh, I think under it. Anyway, where the safe was, there's another square I need to cut, which I haven't done. So I'm cut that out with this. Same width as that. I'll measure it now. Slight problem. Ran out of stain. Oh, there's look, a tiny bit at the bottom. Please be enough. I don't know if it will be. I'll get some off of that. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Just the edges more than anything, to be fair. I need a little brush. I feel like the past couple of videos have been a bit short. I've just got sidetracked for a couple of hours and lost the will to not live. Not quite that bad yet. Basically, we're just trying to catch up on filming so that Danny can get back into videos if we film every weekend. Just had a couple busy weekends with friends and stuff. I guess it's nearly Christmas, so I'm going to call it a week. Thank you so much to our patrons. We'll see you next week back at the boat. I think we're decorating for Christmas, and then back to working on the van. And might make some actual progress the week after next.